All right, so now we're up to solo number 6. Here it is first with the backing track. So our first lick goes like this. The first half uses the G minor pentatonic scale, and the second part of the second half ends with the G major pentatonic scale. We're going to start off with this double stop idea. A double stop is when you play 2 notes at once. So we're going to play 7 on the G string along with 6 on the B string, and we'll slide into those 2 notes. After sliding, strike these 2 notes once again. So we've done this. And then 2 more times. Again 2 more times. Once again 2 more times. So now we've done this. Once again. Now I'm going to play on the 5th fret of the same 2 strings, 3rd fret of the same 2 strings. This time we're going to hammer onto the 4th fret of the G string, followed by 5 on the D. Okay, so here's what we've done so far. The second half sounds like this. So it starts off the same way. But at this point, we're going to slide into the 9th fret of the G string, followed by 8 on the B, and once again, 9 G, 8 B. So here's what we've done from the beginning. Here's the first lick. That takes up the first 4 bars. At this point, we're going to be soloing over C, and here's the second lick of this solo. So think about that C chord. We're trying to create something that sounds good with the C. So we're going to play a lot of the notes from the C chord, or from the C7 chord. First, we're going to play 4 to 5 on the B string. So a little chromatic movement there to get into one of these notes, in this case E, which is found in the C chord. So we're going to play from 4 to 5 on the B string, 3 on the high E, back to 5 on the B, 6 to 3 on the high E. So here's what we've just done. And that sounds great over the C or the C7 chord. Then as a follow-up to this, we'll play something similar. Just added an extra note here. So this was 4 to 5 on the B, 3 on the E, back to 5 on the B. Now 2 times on the 6th fret of the high E, followed by 3 on the E. Each time I give that slight push on the 6th fret of the high E. So we've just done this. At this point, we're going back to G, so here's a short phrase that gets us back into the G chord. And that'll be our third lick of the solo. Very short, but I just want you to see that that goes back to the G, and this is using the G major pentatonic scale here. So we're going to slide 3 to 5 on the B string, 3 on the high E, 5 to 3 on the B. Not so many notes, but very effective. At this point, we're up to bar number 9, where we're playing over the D chord. I'm going to shift positions. Imagine this D bar chord in 10th position. And here's the lick. Just playing some notes that are based around this chord shape. 10 to 11 on the G string, followed by 10 on the B, 10 on the high E, back to 13 B. For the next bar, bar 10, the blues will switch from D down to C. And we'll play the same thing, but this time in 8th position. So this is 8 to 9 on the G, 8 on the B, 8 on the high E, followed by 11 on the B. So outlining this D chord to the C chord is the 4th lick of the solo. And once again, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, and. And the last lick of this solo will be our turnaround. Once again, the turnaround covers the last 2 bars. And our turnaround this time sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So for this turnaround, we're going to start on the 5th fret of the D string, that's the root note G. And then we're going to pedal off of the note G found on the 3rd fret of the high E string. We'll play G down to B on the 4th fret of the G string. Back to G, followed by 5 on the G string. Back to the note G, followed by 6 on the G string. Back to the note G, followed by 3 on the B string. So we've just done this. Now strike the 3rd fret of the B string once again, and we'll end 6 to 3 on the B string. So once again, here's that whole turnaround idea. Now, if that seems tricky to jump over strings with the pick, you can either put the pick down and try the solo without the pick, or better yet, you can keep the pick, but then use your middle finger, or even your middle finger and your 3rd finger to grab some of those other notes. So for this turnaround lick, maybe you can use the pick on the lower strings and use your middle finger on the higher strings. So for that lick, I used my middle finger to grab the high E string, and everything else was done with the pick. That's a good trick to get used to. I do that quite a bit, where I go between just using the pick and using a combination of the pick and fingers. So now let's go back to the very beginning of the solo and try and piece everything together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's solo number 6.